You think he broke the law?
Well, whether or not he broke the law is a less important question than whether or not the government broke the law when it spied on millions of Americans suspected of no wrongdoing.
Well, do you regard him as a hero?
I think it's very courageous in this climate of an unprecedented crackdown and a war on information, a crackdown on disclosures of information for anybody to consider making a whistleblowing disclosure, which is what he made.
Every 29-year-old who doesn't agree with what the government is doing doesn't get permission to break the law, damage national security, and then run off to China when he's done. I mean, it is not the way you protest in the United States. That's, there are ways to do it. I'm not sure this government program is a good program, but stealing documents from the NSA and then turning them over to Glenn Greenwald is simply not the American way, and I think it's a disgrace what he's done.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Well, I mean, that's obviously one opinion, but unfortunately those legal channels that Mr. Toobin referenced are not effective. And you can ask some other NSA whistleblowers that are clients of ours at the Government Accountability Project, Thomas Drake, William Binney, and J. Kirk Wiebe, who raised concerns years ago about this same exact kind of surveillance. And not only were their concerns ignored, but the government prosecuted them and criminally investigated all of them and prosecuted Mr. Drake under the Espionage Act, until, of course, we know what happened there. That prosecution collapsed under the weight of the truth. So to say that there are internal channels that are effective and that are safe is completely false. That's just not the case.
Just because you don't like a government policy doesn't mean you get to win when you fight the policy. There are lots of responsible people in this government, Senator Udall, Senator Merkley, who are appalled at these policies. They are out there speaking against them. They need allies. They can get, people who are upset can join with them, but you don't get to just disclose it on your own and then run off to China. I mean, here's a guy who's concerned about free speech, and he goes to China, a country that represses more free speech in an hour than the United States does in a year.
I think he explained why he went to Hong Kong, but I think that focusing on him is a transparent distraction from where the focus should be, which is on the message, which is on his disclosures. And I think there's some clear confusion here about what a whistleblowing disclosure is. And what Mr. Snowden disclosed is not a policy debate. It's evidence of government illegality. And it doesn't even have to be
a court order.
But there are reasons
which he doesn't even have that they had authority to do it. I mean, I don't see how that's illegality. Now, it may be a bad program, but
well, if you read Section 215 of the Patriot Act, it requires that every investigation that has information collected under that act be related to international terrorism or counterintelligence. Now, I don't know how collecting millions of Americans' innocent phone calls is related to international terrorism or stopping counterintelligence unless we're all counterintelligence agents. That said, he doesn't even have to be right about the illegality to be a legitimate whistleblower. All he needs to have is a reasonable belief.